chat.
Hey Brooks, are you seeing this camera? Oh.
Yeah, just audio check, make sure we're good. Is there any way you can let us know?
I'm gonna go inside. You guys are good here.
Okay, just text us. Let us know when we're live.
Pretty sure you are.
Hey, if you're there watching us on Twitch, are we live? Can you see us? Let us know by asking your questions. This is kind of a cool view, but I wish you could see what we're looking at.
Sign lyrics for sitting on the fire?
I could do that. Yeah.
How did you find inspiration for My Religion?
Are we live?
I think we are, yeah.
Are we?
We're live, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Are you watching this?
I am.
Hey, look at there. Okay. We'll do a little bit of an intro or whatever. Hey, this is Troy. I'm here with Josh Javalier here, live from Stinson Beach. We just finished tracking kind of the foundational tracks for What I Deserve, which is a really, really hard song for us to get into. We were all incredibly excited about it. I was nervous about it. I think we all felt a little precious about it. But day two, man, and we're rocking along. You guys are looking this way, and we're looking at the ocean, which is super rad. But to answer your question, who asked the question about My Religion?
Let's see, it's up here. Being Human 93.
Being Human 93. My Religion was a song that was first kind of bounced around when when I was in Trip Fontaine, and it's about when you say put the needle down, it's a record needle. And how music has become our religion in a much better way, I think. So yeah, that's kind of that. It's interesting how much the song has evolved, and when we went in to do the Sitting in the Fire revisited version with Wayne, that was kind of the one that he wanted to take and do something different with. And I was in a hotel room in St. Louis, I think. And I had my guitar with me, and I just got this idea to kind of change it up a little bit and make it something that was a little bit more acoustic driven and a little more folksy. And as soon as I handed that over to Wayne, he was like, this is the idea. This is the idea. So it became something more as a progenitor for what Window to the Abbey was going to be, which is something that's organic, something that's a little bit more artistic than just a straightforward rock song, because it's about as different as you can get from the version that was on Sitting in the Fire, for sure. What else?
Yeah, Sabrina Marie is asking any advice for an aspiring musician.
Oh,
She's teaching
man.
herself guitar, and it's a struggle.
Well, yes, it is, Sabrina, and kudos to you. There's something that actually Wayne Miller, our producer, turned me on to, which is kind of the different stages of being of the artistic process. The first being the madman, which is the creative phase, just getting all of the ideas out. And it's the madman, the architect, the editor, and then the judge, or the critic and then the judge. And we have a tendency as artists to kind of jump between those roles, and to understand that when you first get that song idea, when you first get that guitar part, or whenever you're learning a new instrument, don't be afraid of just lingering in that madman phase. You're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to just come out with ideas that don't make sense, that aren't fully fleshed out, that aren't fully developed. Just let yourself stay in the madman phase. There'll be plenty of times for you to be the critic, or to be the judge, or to be the architect and build on top of it. But just feel comfortable enough in where you're at, and when you get bored, that is you just under the next level of skill. So when you find yourself getting bored, don't quit, don't stay there. That's when you have to push the hardest. Otherwise, you'll never get over that plateau, and you'll never get better. So bored equals good, just push through.
That's good. Carla asked, what made you want to make music?
Wow. I don't know, Carla, if I could really say what it was that made me. I remember being 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, and like having song ideas. They were terrible, but music has just always kind of been, for me, I think the way that I could express myself. Performance, period, is more that, and I found different outlets for it. It wasn't just about making music. That's why I became an actor as well. we're all in this house creative hearts, and we have different ways that we express ourselves creatively. Music just is one of them. But I don't think there was ever a decision to do that. It was more the decision to develop that and to grow that, and to not be afraid to write a song. 'Cause sometimes that can be scary because you're afraid of, what if I can't write a song? What if I'm bad? We just dealt with, we walked into this song and I didn't have all of the lyrics, and this is a song that's really important to me. Not that this other songs aren't, but this one specifically is, I want to make sure that I honor somebody in this because it's written about somebody else. And I had to go into this getting ready to sing without the knowledge of whether or not it was going to be good lyrics, or if I was going to even have any lyrics. I could open my mouth and nothing can come out except for doo-dahs, and I don't want to do that for all of these other musicians that have come up here and really brought their A game. And sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, and this just brought me to a place where I was like, holy crap, and I got this visual, and I started writing the lyrics. I'm pretty proud of them, and they could still change. But yeah, I guess I had to not be afraid of failing. Never be afraid to fail, for sure.
Good. I have a Window to the Abbey question.
Okie dokie.
What are you doing with the burning chair from Singing in the Fire?
We don't know yet. Right now it's sitting in my living room on the way out to our backyard. And it freaks 8-Bit out, our dog. If you know anything about me, you know how much I love our dog. And 8-Bit still doesn't understand what it's there, why it's there, because he doesn't like change. So it's taken him a while to get used to it even being there. But I think what we want to do is make that just it's a one of a kind. But I think I want to give that away. I think I'd like to maybe share that with someone who really wants to be a part of, the story. And if that speaks to you, maybe we should put it up on Pledge. And again, it's a one of a kind thing, so it may be a little bit more of a higher level, but I'd love to be able to have that in somebody else's home, because we have the story, we have the connection to it, if somebody else feels a connection to that as well. So maybe that'll go up on the Pledge Music site as well. We'll keep you posted.
Cool. What would you say the biggest difference from the first album is compared to this one?
The biggest difference, besides location, are the people. We've kept a lot of the same people. Wayne Miller is back. James Bowen on guitar is back. But then we've got AJ on drums. We have C-Ray on pedal steel and other guitars. And God knows what he's doing in there right now. I saw him sitting down at a pump organ. He's got a modular synth that he's messing with. And he did a couple of days on the last record, but he wasn't really a part of the building of it. He was more just kind of coming in and textures and stuff. And then also finally having John Titterington in here as a keyboardist to be able to really bring that voice fully, as opposed to just having someone who can play keys like me or Bowen, but actually having someone that's their first instrument. But to me, the writing feels more developed. We fast-tracked a lot of stuff. The first album was very much of a catharsis for me. I've been sitting on these songs for, some of them were 10 years, and I just had to get them out. These were, for the most part, pretty fresh ideas. And working with Wayne Miller is a completely different experience than working with Johnny Watt, who produced the first record. The way that Wayne and I work is differently. His vision for this record is different. And I wanted that. We wanted that. We didn't want to just do Sitting in the Fire 2.0. So I would say fundamentally and foundationally, this is a completely different record. That's why we decided to not just call it Troy Baker. It's Window to the Abbey. It's a collaborative thing. It's made up of many voices, not just one.
Cool. If you could design your own tour, which other bands or artists would you like on the roster?
What a great question. Man, I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think we would go well with? There's a lot of times I'm out of the loop with that. I mean, obviously,
Hakeem, we listened to him.
Nick Hakeem was crushing it last night. Scott Middow was turning us onto that. There's a part of me that wants to tour with Mike Posner and Gallant just to make it easier, because we can trade personnel. And Butch Walker, throw that on the mix, and it's like, hey, you guys are all here. I don't know. I mean, you've got your dream tour, but then there's also, I want to seat us in with people that, you know what? No, I wouldn't want to do something that's similar. I'd want to do something that's completely different and I feel like there is you have to kind of win your audience. I remember when U2, I think it was the Elevation Tour, it was U2 and Rage Against the Machine. And it was some brilliant promoter who said, whoever's going to buy a Rage Against the Machine ticket is not going to buy a U2 ticket, and whoever buys a U2 ticket isn't going to buy a Rage Against the Machine ticket. And to see Rage Against the Machine get out on stage, open for U2, and fight to keep that audience was admirable. I would want to do something like that. I played a gig once where we were in the middle of bum blank Egypt, and it was the hickest redneck place I've ever been, and I'm from Texas. And for us to be able to go, we're going to rock out, and we're going to get these people dancing, and we're going to get these people to love us, was a fun challenge. So I would say I would want to put ourselves on tour with someone who's completely different, who we don't match with at all, and see if we can get them to fall in love with us. That would be it.
That'd be cool. I have a question. What's the song story behind the song that we're currently recording, What I Deserve?
It started off with just this notion of, it's been a phrase that I've had, I hope that I never get what I deserve. And even within being an actor within the last year or so, there's been talk about getting what we deserve and being fairly compensated. And I don't ever want to get what I deserve. I don't ever want to get what is fair for me to receive, because I don't deserve any of this. What I deserve is to be in jail. What I deserve is to be dead. I mean, this is all grace that has been given to me. The people that are in my life, the things that I've been able to do are, I mean, I hate using this word, but it's a blessing. I haven't deserved this. I've worked hard to earn it. But the notion of, let me never get what I deserve, but let me always get as much grace and patience and blessing as I can get, sure. But there's a friend of mine who last year lost his wife, and to see what that did to him just foundationally, and how honest and real and even vocal he's been about it, to talk about how much it's been a struggle, and how he's not over it, and the fact that his daughter is someone that really is his lifeline, inspires him, really kind of became the filling in the blanks for me as far as how do I take this notion of what do I, let me never get what I deserve inside the context of this. But it's been real hard because I'm not telling my own story, and I want to make sure that I'm accurately depicting his. So I've been holding it to a pretty high standard for sure. Yeah.
That's good. Are you your own fashion advisor?
Yeah, I listen to my wife a lot of times, but she's like, that's too much. Or Travis Willingham will tell me, but yeah, it's actually, it's a funny question, but it's also it's really part of my identity. I've always been awkward in my own skin. I've always been uncomfortable. I wasn't athletic. I was gangly. I was tall and skinny and just clumsy. And I was like a baby giraffe walking around. And I had a friend of mine that just exuded confidence. And he was always super sharply dressed. And I was super poor growing up. I didn't have a lot of money to spend on clothes or anything else. But I never had like the designer thing, and I went to a school where everybody had that. And I remember for my first job, with my first paycheck, I think I made like $100 for that week. And I went out to the mall and I bought a pair of Pepe jeans. That cost me $75. It was like $84 with tax. I had $16 to my name, but I had a pair of designer jeans finally. And I put them on, I wore them to school, and I felt a little bit better, but I still felt just as awkward, just as uncomfortable. And so it wasn't until many years later where I understood it's not the clothes that make the man, but for me, that's just one way that I don't dress up for anybody else. I wear what I wear because I feel good in it. It makes me feel better, and that's all that matters. So there's times when I've worn, I've had some really weird, bad fashion trends that I've gone through and people have loved me through. There's been a couple of fashion interventions for sure. But But it definitely is, for me, I love wearing a suit, not because I want people to notice me, but because I feel good in a suit. I like wearing hats because it's super convenient, and it's something men have very few accessories. So hats, watches, scarves. If I can accessorize, wear t-shirt and jeans and a hat, I feel good. And it was important coming in here that I feel good. So it's a way longer answer for a very short question. Next one, what you got?
How much of an impact has sitting in the fire has made on your life, not just as an artist, but as a human being, and how did that transpose itself onto Window to the Abbey?
Well stated. Who is that?
Yeah, this is, I think, I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay.
Been waiting for that.
Brilliant question. I mean, number one, Sitting in the Fire had a huge impact on my life. It was the first solo record that I ever made. It introduced me to people who have not only become amazing partners in music, but it's also been people who have become really, really close friends of mine. And that's probably the greatest impact that it's had. It's brought Wayne Miller into my life. It's brought James Boland into my life. It's brought AJ Novak into my life, Chris Ray, Javalle. All these people have come into my life now, and they feel like family. So that's probably the greatest byproduct of this. It's given me a creative outlet. It's given me a musical outlet that I was missing before, that I felt I needed to have with other people. So yeah, I think it's had a massive impact. It's brought me to being able to do this and be on Twitch. And if you're just now joining us on Twitch, if you're brand new to this thing and we're the reason why you're here, thank you. That's cool. It's an incredible community. Welcome to the nerddom. We own it. We wear it like a badge on our sleeve. It's been crazy how these two worlds have collided, where people know me from inside this thing, and then all of a sudden I completely flip the script and go, oh yeah, I also do this. And the fact that you guys have been so supportive of that is incredible. The fact that people have gone to Pledge Music and decided to partner with us and say that we want to support this has meant the world to me. So how Sitting in the Fire translates to Window to the Abbey, it's the evolution of that. And the fact that I'm not doing this alone. The fact that I've got an incredible community of people immediately surrounding me within the musicians that have chosen to be a part of this thing, but also people like you. The fact that you're taking time out of your day to look on an iPhone or an iPad or a computer screen just to be a part of the story. That to me is the greatest impact.
That question was from Marcel, by the way.
Thank you, Marcel. It's an incredible question. Thank you.
This is a cool one. Your favorite video game growing up?
Man, you're talking like 35 years of gaming. So there were no gaming consoles before I was 5. I go back to like ColecoVision and Intellivision and Atari 1600. Man, it's really funny. I was in a session with Will Wheaton the other day, and we were talking about all of the Infocom games and like Zork and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, all the text-based adventures, and how I used to sit on a little compact with a green or orange screen. You had the option with a legal pad next to me making my notes before going in, because if you didn't press save beforehand, you had to start all the way over. But when I was growing up, like, I didn't have a Nintendo because we couldn't afford one, but for my birthday, I could rent a Nintendo, and it came with you could rent the system and 2 games for $10 for the weekend or whatever. So I had 48 hours to beat a game. And so Chrysalis, there was nothing told us then that these were going to be the classic games. You had Zelda, and then you had Chrysalis. And I was like, I don't know, C comes before Z. And so I just tried this one first. So I played the crap out of Chrysalis. I played the crap out of the first Batman game. Double Dragon was my jam. And then if my aunts were feeling nice, they would take me to the arcade and give me $5, which was, you could spend the entire day in the arcade for $5. If you had $10, you might not come out alive. They may just find you passed out next to the Galaga machine. But I remember the day that Pac-Man got wheeled into our grocery store, into our supermarket, and I was like, what is that? And it was Pac-Man, and then at first it was Centipede, and then they brought in Pac-Man. And Centipede, I still have scars from where the ball would pinch, and the smallest fire button ever. But I've grown grown up with games, and I think I'm on my 10th console now, 10th console generation, going back from everything from Atari, again, ColecoVision or Atari 1600 to NES, Super NES, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Sega Genesis, the Jaguar, the Lynx, all of those things. I've just watched gaming evolve, and not only that, but also I've watched the community evolve around it too, and how this is no longer just a niche thing, but it's something that you don't do privately, but you do publicly. And I know people that have formed lifelong friendships because of the games that they've played. That's really, really cool. There's a great group of people out in the UK that, man, I'm going to botch it if you're watching, I'm so sorry, but they're the Fireflies, and like they all connected because of The Last of Us, and they're like diehard friends that are geographically disparate, but they've just become these solid friends in their communities that lift each other up, and they make sure that they check in with people and they have accountability. It's like a church. It's awesome.
That probably ties into this next
True.
question. Any special fan moments? And that could go with gifts that you've received from fans. What's a pretty cool moment?
Whenever people make fan art, it always blows my mind. Don't make me anything, if we're at a con, don't give me anything big, because it's really, really hard for me to take back. But people that write me letters, which I really appreciate, because a lot of times at conventions especially, it's that exchange, that commerce is so short because there's a bunch of people that are trying to get that much time. And I try to take as much time as I can with people. But when people write me letters and I can later, I'm on the plane back or whatever, or in my hotel room and I'm reading those, and that means a lot. Writing a letter to me is a lost art. People don't really do that anymore because it takes so much effort. Even when people send a text, I'm like, yeah, but sitting down and really writing a letter means a lot. But when people make fan art, to me that just shows impact of what we've done by making a game, making an album, or whatever. The impact that's inspired you to create art. And that to me is the greatest compliment. If we can be not just enjoyment, but if we can be encouragement, and if we can be inspiration, that to me is something far greater and far less self-serving. But yeah, there's been some monumental fan interactions. The fact that people feel comfortable enough opening up and telling me the things that they're struggling with encourages me to open up and talk about the things that I'm struggling with. And we have community in that, and we get to be okay in our awkwardness and our suck together. And I feel like that strengthens us. That strengthens us as a community. It strengthens us as people. So for sure.
Cassidy asked, what advice do you have to set aside fear that's holding you back?
God, what a great question. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your friend. Fear is there to remind you that what's at stake is something that's important. So you don't ever want to not feel fear. You don't ever want to not feel pain, because otherwise, how great would the triumph be? It'd be mediocre. That's all we would have. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your friend. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your friend. Because you have to understand that no matter what, no matter how bad the fear is, it still can't stop you. It still doesn't have any control over you. If fear could stop you, that would be one thing. But the only thing separating you from overcoming your fear is a decision to just do it. I was talking to somebody this last weekend. It's like, it's really hard for me to go outside. But the power for him to conquer that just takes one step. It's a huge step. It's a hard step. But the fear doesn't control him. He allows the fear to have control over him. I allow the fear to have control over me. So when you finally go, no matter what, I'm not ignoring you, fear. I'm recognizing that you're there, but I'm letting you know that ultimately the decision is up to me. Maybe start with that, as opposed to stepping foot outside, just understanding that you have the ability to step foot outside. And then maybe that's all you can do for the day. But don't treat it as your enemy. It's your friend. It's there to encourage you. Fear can sometimes be a great motivator why we do or don't do things. So don't be afraid of fear. Yeah. Cool. I hope that helps you. I really do.
What is your tattoo on your arm?
Oh, this thing? I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I was doing a movie, and we had a lot of downtime, and there's some incredible art galleries around Santa Fe, and there's some incredible artists around Santa Fe. So a friend of mine found this 3-foot copper wall sconce that he was going to put on his wall. He was like, this is awesome. It's by a local artist. It's called The Circle of Life. This is the beginning of your life, the journey you take through life, and the circumstances and relationships in your life, and you see how everything's connected. I'm going to put that on my living room wall. I was like, I'm going to put that on my arm. So right before I moved to LA, I branded myself, and I understood that there's a purpose, there's a path, there's a destination, and for me it's just been something that's been really cool. I am definitely jonesing for a new tattoo. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need a 5th one because my wife's favorite number is 5. It's probably driving her crazy because she's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to get another one. It's just I haven't landed on what. It's not that I'm not sure what I want to get. It's what I want to get for this one for sure.
Cool. We have quite a few more of an audience.
Oh.
Give them
Yeah,
intro
let's
of what we're doing
let's
here?
catch you up to speed a little bit. So if you're just now joining us, thank you so much, whether you are a long-time member of Twitch community or if you just joined because you got hip to what we're doing here. So we are coming to you live from Stinson Beach, California, high atop this beautiful ocean. The sun is starting to set. We're up here. I'm Troy Baker. This is Josh Valle. We are up here tracking a record under the brand Window to the Abbey. Window to the Abbey is a collaboration of 6 friends seeking to tell a story through music, and we want you to be a part of the story. If you have no idea what we're talking about, go to pledgemusic.com/Troy Baker. You can actually watch a brief clip that will tell you what this thing is all about. You can find out how you can become involved, how you can #be a part of the story. And you can also find out how to get more information. Not only do we stream twice a day on Twitch, which will be from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time and then 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, but you can also see a lot of really exclusive content, morning hangouts we got to do this morning, having a cup of coffee overlooking the ocean, just talking and hanging out with people, exclusive pictures, exclusive videos, interviews with the band members, all sorts of stuff, only on our private Instagram account. Window to the Abbey, at Window to the Abbey on Instagram. You can only do that by being a part of the story. So again, pledgemusic.com/Troy Baker. Go there, find out what level you want to be involved in, how you can become a part of the story, because we want you to be a part of this exclusive behind the scenes thing. To my knowledge, no one has ever done this before. No one has ever live streamed the recording of an album. They've chopped it up and edited it perfectly so that you get to see the pretty package, but you don't get to see Scott Middow, our videographer, with like some weird 24-hour stomach virus. You don't get to see us really struggling to make sure that we get this part right. You don't get to see the band disagreeing. And those are the kinds of things we want to show you. A good friend of mine who's an actor said that whenever there is contention, there is care. And when you see us kind of butting heads, Wayne and I had a thing today. He was like, how are you feeling? I was like, I'm feeling disconnected from this process because I'm stuck down in the basement. You guys are up here looking at the ocean, and you're making amazing things. I get to do a scratch vocal, and I'm kind of done for now. And he was able to walk me through that. So you get to see like the dynamic that happens when 6 guys, 10 people actually in the house. We have James, our cook, in there, cooking up a storm, by the way, too. My gosh. You get to see how all these bodies under one house really get to work together. And it's a cool process. We want you to be a part of it. So again, pledgemusic.com/Troy Baker. Find out how you can be a part of the story. That'll get you access to at Window to the Abbey on Instagram. And it'll also give you private looks, 2 Twitch streams a day. Why is it so hard for me to say? 2 Twitch streams a day, 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific as well. I think we're going to go back inside the house and show you a little bit more of us working on this tune called What I Deserve. Last, I think, Christopher Ray, C. Ray, our pedal stealer and other electric guitarist, was working on some overdubs. So if you've never seen what it looks like when you do overdubs or live tracking, this is how you can find out. So I'm going to sign off from here. Thank you again for joining us for the Q&A. We're going to do some more stuff. One last plug, pledgemusic.com/Troy Baker. Come and be a part of the story. Until then, let's take it back inside the house.
You should cut away from us for a second.
Get away.
You sure? I get you a stool. Man. Can I adjust you here? Yeah. Cool.
I think you're live, John.
Okay.
Maybe introduce yourself and talk to Josh.
Hey everybody, I'm John Titterington from Window To the Abbey. Apparently I'm here, apparently people have Q's. I'm here to give some A's. Can everybody hear me?
Hat, man. They like the hat.
Nice. I'm a hat guy. Become one recently because guys get older, you know?
What are some artists or bands that inspired you to become a musician?
That's a great question. Oh man, where do I start? First and foremost, the Beatles. One of the first records I had as a kid, actually the first record I had as a kid was Magical Mystery Tour. And there's a song on there called I'm the Walrus, which is really messed up. I was 10 and I was listening to it with headphones on, isolation headphones, just on my parents' living room floor, and it just fucked me up. The lyrics were so dark and weird, unabashedly weird, in a way that when you're a kid, generally the music you're hearing is pretty straightforward, and then you're I'm hearing John Lennon sing about all this weird dark and sexual imagery and pig policemen and people climbing skyscrapers and stuff. I didn't really know what to do with it, but I was just more. I want more of this, that kind of fueled a Beatles obsession. I was a pretty nerdy kid in terms of I would just sit at a piano and just play random stuff. And I was secretly really jealous of all the guitar players I knew because everybody loves guitar players. It's just still to this day. And I wanted to rock, but I didn't know how to rock. And I just kind of kept to myself. And then I heard a record called Whatever and Ever Amen by Ben Folds 5. And that just opened a door for me. I realized that you could be a piano player and rock too, And I mean, there are people have been making piano. I mean, rock and roll is a piano form essentially. And there are people like Elton John and Billy Joel who well, not so much Billy Joel, but there were piano players who rocked before all of that. Jerry Lee Lewis is a good example. But when in the 90s, when I was a kid, there weren't a lot of examples of, I mean, everybody was into Nirvana and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and all these guitar bands. And it wasn't until I heard Ben Folds 5 that I realized you could be a piano player and still, mess some stuff up. Anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a good question. How many different kinds of keyboards do you use for this record, or have you used? And are you going to use any other similar stuff like organ or synth? I'll let you elaborate.
Yeah. This is a lock-off. It's kind of a bummer. It's because I want to I want to get into it and show everybody.
You can do that on the Window To the Abbey Instagram feed.
Oh yeah.
Stream for that, so if they want to do that, they got it.
Yeah, I'll do a more keyboard world centric thing, but to give you just a quick answer to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 main keyboards, and then 8 if you include the piano that we've got around the corner that you can't see. 8 keyboards that I'm going to use on the record, and that's just in the studio we're in, there's just about any kind of keyboard you could imagine available, but logistically it's kind of impossible to use all of them. So I just had to it would be walking in, if you're a car guy, walking into a garage and every kind of vintage car is available. You just got to at a certain point, you just got to choose 5, And so I chose and then these 2 are keyboards that I own personally. And it's kind of if you can't make a record with what I'm surrounded with, then something's wrong, or you're not a very good keyboard player. There is an organ right here. I don't know if this is in the frame, but this is a Hammond. I think it's an M100. I'm not totally sure what model it is, but yeah, there will be a Hammond like rock organ on the record. But we haven't tracked any yet. That'll probably happen later in the week. Yeah.
How did you learn to separate your right hand from your left hand playing piano? I'm having a hard damn time. LMFAO.
My dude. That is hard, yeah. That is something that is a skill that you have to learn. It's like speaking Italian or something. There's no like quick fix. You just have to do a lot of it. You're basically like splitting your brain off into two different people when you do it, and that's difficult. The best way to do it is if you have both parts, if you know both parts with both hands, you want to practice doing like your left hand part, just your left hand. And just practice that a lot and do it with a metronome. That's kind of key. If you have a metronome, I mean, you can get one for your phone or you can get a physical one. I use the one on my phone. And you just like, you learn each part, and once you can get each part with both hands perfectly, then you combine the two, but you slow way down. Like if you can run both hands like individually at both speed, once you start integrating both hands, do it at half speed. Like go all the way, cut the BPM in half. So if it's like do 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 bum 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 ba da da, like you're gonna go do 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 bo ba ba, and then you just once you can play it perfectly at a really slow tempo, then you just bump it up. Just bump it up like 5 beats per minute, and then once you get it perfect there, you bump it up again, and then you just slowly ramp it up until you're playing at the correct tempo, and you just kind of have to keep doing that until once you get a little bit more practiced, then it comes quicker to you. But I mean, even stuff that I play, like if I've got a really challenging part, I've got to break it down that way. Anyway, I hope that's helpful.
Yeah. Ricky 6 with all the good questions. What was your first song you remember learning or teaching yourself to play?
First of all, hi Ricky, I see you. What was the question?
What was the first song you remember learning or teaching yourself to play?
Good question. I'm trying to figure out like an interesting answer, because the honest one is like chopsticks or something, you know, some like I started super young. I was like 5 when I started playing piano, and the stuff you learn when you're that age is like Ba Ba Black Sheep, you know, and that's not a very interesting answer. So I'll try and go with like when I was more of like a developed human and I actually wanted to go learn a piano, like a song, without somebody telling me like, learn this, you know. So it would probably be Hey Jude by the Beatles. Yeah, I think that's my answer. That's a good piano song if you don't know it.
I have a question. What song are you looking forward to playing on for this record?
Is that from you, Josh?
It is directly from me.
The one I was most looking forward to doing, we actually played already, which was Water into Wine. That was, yeah, I really had a lot of fun when we were working on the demo for that. Yeah, I as a keyboard player, I really love dirty electric piano, and any opportunity I have to do that, particularly if you're adding delay to it, which is what we did on that song, that's kind of the world I want to live in, and I try to go there as often as I can.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a great song. So I think we're gonna switch cameras now. I think they're overdubbing C-Ray downstairs.
Cool.
In the control room.
Yeah.
So should be getting switched over to that. See
All
you
right.
guys later.
Thanks, guys.
I create a MIDI track, and on the MIDI track I configure the out to go to this, and then I send it.
Oh,
Send it a click
Yes.
from the MIDI track.
Well, I send it the time code.
the
Like in
gen- oh, I
in
see.
Logic, you can route the time code.
Gotcha.
The other option would be. Oh, I was there. Oh, is it here? Input, we don't need. Output would be this. Channel 1. Does it make any difference?
But hold on.
Oh, great.
Is it working right now?
Yeah.
It sounds
Okay.
dead on to me.
So what was it?
That's
just a-
freaking dead on. It
It's
was
just a knob thing.
no. It's that when you stop it, it changes the parameters of everything.
Oh.
So whenever I have this going dun dun dun, it's going whenever.
Right. Because if I stop it now, it'll be even slower.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Okay,
geez.
so hit play again. It's off again.
Hmm.
It was just whatever you had it doing just a second ago. It was
What's
happening.
money, right?
Was it because it was recording?
Maybe? Hang on. What now? What? Okay.
Golly, it was happening for a second.
Perfect, right?
What changed?
I mean, it seems like it's the same amount off, right?
Before it was just dead.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
dead on.
Okay, hang on.
That's it. What did you do?
I don't know. I pressed this wait for MIDI thing, and then I turned it off. Well, and oh, maybe that's what you have to do. That's like weird. So this is like the look for MIDI or whatever, and then I had that. I pressed that, pressed record, and then I hit that, and then
Again?
I hit it again and turned it off, and it recorded. It started recording, and it locked to the tempo. How's that for weird?
Alright, I'm gonna let you remember that.
That's so weird, man.
Okay, Wayne, you have to come help me play.
Okay.
Okay, so come over here to this side.
Yep.
Oogla Fest.
Okay, so whenever we change the chords, you're
Yeah.
just going to be alternating between these two things.
Got it.
Okay, start me from the top, please.
From the top.
Because I got to get the chords down.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, wrong.
Sorry. Go ahead. Oh, my bad. Okay, so what we need to do,
You
hit that, and that's like look for MIDI now. Press the record button. And that's whatever that, for whatever reason that works.
If I could only see
There's the intro.
Okay, yeah, no, hit the second button right here.
Back.
Yeah.
as I stumble on she should be sweet.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, can I hear that back?
yeah.
Dude, go get Troy. If he's not busy. If you're cool with him hearing.
Oh, yeah, I see the cloud. What? Tell me, hold on, tell me when. Maybe I can like get it from right here.
That stationary is good, but not that one.
Yeah.
Wireless. What weird.
So I'll find a better
Okay. Will you stop, please?
Rock it on.
And then will you cycle it so that I can do it in time again, like what was happening, so that I can
Yeah.
mess with the time.
Same thing.
So can we do a new playlist or something? Or do you
Yeah.
want to keep that? Okay. It's a pretty Ghost in the Machine kind of situation we have going here. So
Yeah. Well, that is by nature. Like you never know when you turn this on what it's gonna
What
do.
it's gonna do.
Yeah. Like there's like a whole written manual of how to turn it on. Wow.
So is there a $10,000 model that you can tell it what to do?
No, they're all like this. It's ridiculous. Okay, can I get that click happening again?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So new playlist, same.
this. Oh wait. That. And then. Is that a PCI slot? What is that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry. I can tell.
Actually, you know what really though? Can you play the changes? Okay, cool.
I got you, fam.
Okay, thanks, dude. And
John's
then-
like, I know the keyboard parts.
yeah,
with the
that
song.
way I can. Okay, so yeah,
Cool. 2-man operation.
yeah.
Ugh. Ergonomically, this sucks.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's
Tell Josh to come get some
what's
of this.
cool
stuff,
though.
too.
Press a little harder.
He's a viable option, you know. Come down.
It takes a
Oh.
steady hand.
Is this?
Takes a village.
You ready?
Hold on one second. Okay, so if you barely touch, you get that like bell tone. It's like and then the more you push, the more you're folding the waves to get like.
So what do you want?
Just like whenever you want, just kind of like press to like change the timbre.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
come over here and film this with your phone, please. It's so great.
Can we do it? Can we get it in time real quick so we can see?
So this is just rehearsal. Cool?
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 4.
Do you experience it more that way? Not like if you go really light, like just to barely touch it. See how sensitive it is?
Yeah.
Dang, that's cool.
I feel like
And then
Siri's
I
a
press-
doctor right now.
See what I mean? It's like super sensitive.
Go right here. It's really soft.
Yeah, I was.
Does it hurt when I touch here?
It was like I was going from a 30 to a 50 when I need to be going from like a 5 to a 15.
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So you make the changes with the thing. Okay.
Alright.
Cool. We're going in from the top of the verse. I don't really need that anymore. Okay. Josh, can you wide this with your phone?
I just need to check that phone real quick.
Okay.
I feel like we're on a treasure hunt together.
We are, buddy. We're gonna find it.
Yeah.
Okay. So here it comes.
Or dismantling a bomb.
Yeah.
You said yellow wire, the blue wire.
Yes or no, Josh?
If I could only somehow find I could take a step
Okay, that's moving in a cool direction.
if I could
Oh, yeah.
only
Wait,
see as I stumble
Alright, cool. That's good. Okay, let me hear back. Hear that back. Good job.
Thanks, buddy.
You want to sit with me?
That's some cool stuff, man.
Dude, you gotta check out what he did on the chorus. We're gonna fly some of the stuff from our demo too,
Hey,
like some of his profits.
while we're listening to this, can you pull up of the Valhalla vintage verb?
Oh, on that
for the
chick.
guitar.
Yeah,
No,
kind of started
just
off-
on the Buchla.
Oh, the
on the
Buchla.
Buchla.
Okay. Yeah. The vintage verb.
Yeah,
Cool.
and then take the mix down to like 30.
Mm-hmm.
No, like right there is good actually.
Okay.
Let's try that, and then put the decay at noon. turn the pre-delay almost all the way down, but just add a little bit. Okay, cool. And then can you drag that to both tracks?
It's on stereo track.
Okay, cool. Let's take the mix down a little bit. Yeah.
I can take a step if I could only see
That's where shit's happening right there.
as I start
Look at those guitars, Troy.
Okay, so my question is, do you know the part that I'm doing the syncopated guitar thing?
Mhm.
Where is that located?
Chorus.
So that's right here?
Mm-hmm.
I can't hear it. Am I... Okay, cool. So can I hear the buchla going into that?
Sure.
That's fucking awesome.
It's like a part I try to get you to play all the time.
And the camera moving so hard. Okay, cool. Can I hear?
Right.
Can you go back to the beginning of the buchla and let me
Yeah.
hear that one more time?
You want to hear it one more time?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm
I
wondering.
love all that. I
I'm
love all
wondering-
that low pass stuff.
Me too. I'm
It's
wondering
real-
if see the measure
yeah.
before the light blue.
Yeah. This vibe right
Yeah.
here.
Can you maybe like cut the track right there and mute all the stuff before that?
Yeah. So it's.
But I still I want you cut in the middle. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, now can you play the verse without the buchla so I can hear it going into it? Thank you.
That's moving it to a really cool place, though. Like those textures stuff.
Yeah.
It's taking out of jazz.
Right.
Is the pump organ not right there?
Oh no.
It comes in here.
Like that right
If I could only see
That's what, okay, on that down is where the freaking buchla should start.
I feel like it should flip to where it goes.
So this should be here.
Yes, exactly. So maybe just cut right there.
if I could only see
Boom, right there. Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Down this downbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
if I could only see as I start
Okay, so now we know where it's coming in. So let's let John and I do another
Perform it a couple
yeah,
times?
perform
Cool.
it another again because that's not the take.
Right. I'm with you.
Okay.
So this is 2 bars.
Let me mess with the tone just one more time because now I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting a better idea of the context.
Yeah, go for it.
Will it play in time like it usually does? Like it?
If I solo it and I give you.
Great.
If I do it this way.
Awesome. All right, buddy. It's you and me.
1, 2. You want to just work it out
Yeah.
for a sec?
Yeah, exactly. So will you play through those chords again for me? All right, we're so ready for this.
Cool.
All right. Instead of actually one more time. Let me hear those changes again. Maybe we should move one of those lower voicings up. So play the first voicing. The dun dun dun.
1, 2, 3.
If I could only see
I keep the voicing up this time.
as I stumble she should be I could only
Let's try that again. Was I?
Wide
From
from this.
Did
just
I miss
so
it?
where-
Okay, yeah.
Just
Just
if
My
remember
voice
the,
is different.
Okay. I
remember
already
the
got
super
some.
light
cool.
touch.
Just,
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
you know,
so you
just
can
in
mess with
case
the
we want to cut
timbre.
it in later,
Alright.
it'll match other footage.
How did you feel about that versus voicing it the first way?
I don't know. What do you think?
My instincts as a keyboard player are to keep the voicings close together.
Do you like it? So does that mean lower?
That means higher.
Okay.
Like as a keyboard player, you try and keep everything so you're not moving your hand. Essentially, that's kind of what I'm hearing. But
Let's try that. Let's try it that way.
okay.
All right. Cool.
I don't know if anyone has opinions. I'm totally open to it.
No. Let's do that.
All right.
Cool. Here's 2 bars. Let's see if this just works. 1, 2, 3.
if I could only see
Can you turn it up a little bit, buddy? Can you turn it up?
as I stumble she should be
Okay. Let's do it again.
Cool.
We're getting there.
Are you gonna go back and forth between the 8ths and 16ths, or you kind of?
Yeah. No, I am.
Cool.
I am.
Cool. It's to be locked on the metronome now.
if I could only see as I stumble she should be
Let's do that.
Cool. Cool baton pass.
We're still live.
Yep.
Till 7, right?
What time is it?
if I could only see as I stumble she should be
I like it. I feel like we could get a little bit more out there.
You what?
I feel like we could give it a little bit more steez. How does it feel?
Cool.
Like I feel like the other one, even though it's like not exactly the take, it had a little bit more of a thing.
The previous
The
one.
first one.
The very first one. This one.
only see as I stumble she should be
I don't like that.
I like how
When I
it fades
listen
out
to
and
it-
fades back up.
Me too. Me
Yeah,
too. Because it
kinda
disappears for a
disappears.
second.
Yeah.
All right, that's the one then.
Cool.
How is this thing getting time code?
MIDI.
MIDI.
We got it.
Oh, I didn't
Got it.
I didn't see the panel back there.
Yeah.
Figured it in.
I can't see any cables, so I'm just like,
It's
what
wireless.
is going on?
Cool.
Is there another section that we want to do that? Because I don't think we should use the same performance.
I agree.
Okay.
There's verse 2, but I almost feel like we don't want to. We want verse 2 to be another color. I feel
Different
like.
thing? Cool. Just use it for that one spot.
Yeah, but there's might be another spot. Like,
What about that
I
whole
mean, this
instrumental?
whole instrumental. Maybe like. Maybe it's gone, but it's back here. This is like dreamland. You know what I mean?
Never again. What?
That's cool.
Bury that and let's hear what it sounds
There's
like.
like tons of backgrounds on this song too, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be doing this for days, bro.
There's that whole thing.
Oh shoot.
Watch yourself.
Oh no.
We'll start masturbating.
Hey, like I think what would be cool is on the duh on that part.
Yeah.
You should cut everything else out and just on that one chord automate a fade to where it comes in on that and then comes out, and that's the only part that's in that entire section.
Okay. So
So play it again. Over those two bars right there.
back down now.
Yeah, and then you're out at the end of that. Yeah.
Okay.
So those two measures it should be in right there. Maybe that's cool.
Just so you guys know, you're getting a lot of love. People are flipping their shit.
Oh, awesome.
Just drifted a little bit.
Respect is what people are saying. It's like,
Just drifted a little bit, but I
Trying to please.
think it's because I didn't have the click on potentially. Yeah, because I just nudged it and it's good. So.
See what's so cool about this is like this sends out voltages, and whenever you turn it off to where it's not controlling the octaves or the presets, then
How do
these
you
can be assigned to
key
any
command-
parameter of the whole board and
Is that
affected by
fade?
these touch plates. So like,
So do you
So I
set it by
wanted-
attaching it?
yeah, so I wanted
So we
the
wanna
output of this to go to
fade
the
up to
input
the
of
middle of that and then
arpeggiation.
down to the
Oh, it's
So I
so
turned the
cool.
arpeggiation down, and then I set this to the rate that I wanted, and then I set this to the rate that I wanted, so I could
Yeah.
just flip back and forth between those two rates.
Oh, it's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And then. Just
Yeah, I mean the whole thing's. I mean, any parameter you see here,
I don't know
um,
if it'll let me.
can be controlled by CD.
Sure, just give them
So
super tool.
like the
Oh.
oranges, all of the oranges
I
are
think
the
it didn't want me
envelope.
to do it right at the
Right.
same
So
time.
you can make that
Right.
envelope affect anything by patching like this orange is that envelope,
Cool.
this orange is that envelope, and this orange is that
Yeah,
envelope.
yeah.
So then I can put it to the input of any of the parameters.
So do a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah, same thing, and then you can kill it there.
Yeah,
dude.
that's the thing. Let me come up with maybe like a little like a legato kind of weird patch that we
Cool.
can put right there.
Love it.
You can go slower on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, then we need another track.
Yeah. You still need time.
What? No
No.
time code.
So
yeah, this is moving to a really cool place. Man.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Did you hear very much of?
I want to listen back.
Did you really heard the full thing? Yeah, it sounds pretty night and day up here, down here compared to the.
What we heard. That's what I'm saying. It's like I go up top to get perspective,
Right.
and then you guys need to come down here to get perspective.
Yeah.
It's like it's the craziest thing.
Well, we came in and listened to this with. I'm feeling like up there, like okay, we've got a
Ready?
shell
Yeah.
of a song. And come down. That sounds awesome already.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
No, like literally, I was thinking while we were tracking, I was just like, we're gonna have to overdub so much stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you come down here like, oh, this sounds.
Sounds
Because every tone is so much bigger. Drums fill up way more space. The bass fills up space. The rhythms fill up space. Like, oh.
Like I was like, we're gonna need to retrack the keyboard, and I get down here, and I'm like, oh no, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That the Nordy dude is just serving well.
yeah.
I think if we have time, it's worth investigating actually getting the Mark II on there, but why?
Maybe.
Right. At a certain point, we don't need
It's
it.
like if it's working, it's working.
Right. Not for the sake of being analog. That's pretentious.
I'm keeping that like list of potential like at the end kind of overdubs we can have stations. But like we can pull that.
Is it because many
Profit
maybe
song we
going?
love.
Yeah.
The demo, like I'm gonna fly some of that stuff in.
It just
Because there's no reason to redo it. We have
We've already done it.
right? And even the I can fly that over just to the audition.
It wasn't
That's a
tracked that
lightsaber
well.
right
That's
there.
my
Yeah,
problem
this
with
thing-
that.
okay.
I would have. I mean, I also
I would
think
love
that
to grab that on the Nord.
Either that or find a different voice for that
Didn't you
part.
play it on a cue stick?
Played it on a harpsichord.
I played a harpsichord, remember?
Oh, right.
So I'm wondering, like, if we open this bad boy up and hear what that sounds like, or if it needs to be chimey, like if they got a dulcimer.
There's also a 12 string here.
I mean, well, Bowen was like, I want to play that line on an acoustic.
Cool.
What about that nylon?
That could be cool.
Yeah, that nylon sounds great.
Yeah. C-Red's tone is killing right now. Stop.
Guys, we need to low end.
I just shat a little. Just a little. I guess.
Somebody asked, they were like, did this guy build this thing? Like, did he make this
Tell us
machine?
absolutely.
Yes, he did.
With his mind.
He built it with his mind and his boner.
There it is.
Wow, someone said it reminds me of TV on the radio.
I love TV on the radio.
Can you put that tuner back up, please?
The hot cut may be the thing if it's got that much rhythm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's happening.
That sounds cool.
Will you work this fader, please?
Sure.
Are you gonna do a pass of the chords on the instrumental?
Maybe.
Okay.
Let me just see.
So does he have like this mic open as like a
Okay.
mic?
Will you get me to the part, the instrumental part, real quick?
In 1 second I will.
Are they?
hearing us talk?
I'm gonna.
Oh, that mic.
What are the chords on the
That
instrumental part?
47 should be on it.
Right on.
Chords on the instrumental part. G to E minor.
Okay, cool.
I think.
B minor.
Sorry,
Right on.
G to B minor.
Actually,
Sorry,
hey,
Twitch.
you handle the keys and I'll handle the
There we
other
go.
shit.
Yeah. There we are.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
It's all about partnership right here.
Yeah,
Let me just,
I want to make sure that I didn't. If I do that, if it signs Brooks out, I didn't want to do that. But I can absolutely do that.
Oh shit, that might be tighter.
That's tighter, dude. Yeah, play it nice and low.
Okay.
You can. Just because I think that fatness is cool.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, maybe this is cool. right, let's
Towards
try.
the end.
We can see this is what I asked.
Right here.
Can you make it louder, please?
Never get what else
Sorry.
That's all good.
Take that again with Squick.
Yeah. And can you? It'd be awesome if you could turn like maybe the master volume down a little bit, and then the buchla up just a little bit more, so there we can hear the
Sure.
synth better than everything else. This is so tight.
I
Yeah,
know,
man.
man.
What
I'm not
sucks
mad
is
about
that
it.
I keep hearing this one part where
Tell me.
That's not the best. No. I'm being completely incredibly selfish. Like there's one part in the vocal that I want to change, even though this is a scratch. I still like every time. But no, that to me is adding like, it's keeping it out of jazzy land.
Cool.
It's complementing what AJ is doing,
Yeah.
because what AJ is really working on is like a part, and it becomes a voice.
Yeah.
And more stuff like that's what we can add. I want to hear the pump organ too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'm like, I know there's a case to be made for it being out of tune, but I freaking love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of corrected it
Cool.
somewhat.
Cool.
Yeah.
But we didn't go into the LFO thing yet with it to
Cool.
make it wobbly.
Yeah.
which
What's,
I guess
what's
so-
cool too is that when it's corrected, it actually sounds kind of glitchy.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
Yeah, it
you're-
gives it
you're-
another thing.
You're right, Troy. Anytime there's roads, it's always on the edge of becoming like Chick Corea, Return to Forever.
Yeah.
And obviously we're not trying to do that.
All right, dude. Let's do it again while it's fresh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Same spot, please.
Y'all are ready here?
Yeah. Hold on. Work my brain on the second because I'm hearing something else I want us to do.
You say that phrase like you wanted to do this like you're trying to teach a dog a trick, right? God, I need to figure out how I'm going to tell it to do this.
No. Here's a rolled up newspaper.
No, I know I can do this. Yes, okay. Okay, yeah. No, that's not gonna work.
Normally when you see people plugging in cables, we all plug in cables all the time in our instruments. We have a general idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
This
No
is like,
clue.
oh, I
Well,
need to
if
like,
you can dream it, you can usually do it, but I don't.
Way to go.
I think I need.
Tony Robbins.
I think I need another envelope, which they make now an aux card that goes here that gives you another LFO
Nice.
that I could really use right now. That's it. That's the take for sure.
Sick.
Yeah.
Damn.
Champions.
Yeah, that's it.
That was tight.
That was super
Did you
tight.
listen down once?
Yeah. Did you guys fly the stuff over that needed to be flown?
I think so. Yeah, we
think
flew
we
the
did.
pump. We flew
Did
the
you
car.
did you fly the pedal steel part that's going
Yeah.
the twinkly high thing?
We did, yeah.
Mhm.
Flew it to the second chorus.
And the good the dun 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 dun
Mhm.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
Okay.
we flew that to the second chorus, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about the pump
Wait.
organ?
Yeah, we did.
Mhm.
Did we fly the guitar? Did we fly the edit
got
of
it.
it? Yeah, cool.
We got all
Great.
of it.
Great. Cool. Let me have some more time.
Will you play the pump organ or the section with the pump organs in there real quick?
Sure. Can we just do pass from the top for
Well,
Troy?
well, yeah, but I want to hear this section first because I might want Troy to hear it louder.
Gotcha.
As I stumble
Yeah, make that just a little bit louder, please. Yeah,
The pump?
just a little bit more pump.
Pump it up, bro.
A little more love pump.
Dude, directly into just a couple of tubies right here.
Yeah, it sounded really good.
Yeah. Old daddy right here.
All right, guys, thanks for letting me get my rocks off.
Well, yeah, bro.
Glad to have those rocks.
Titties.
Really
Yeah,
cool.
buddy.
Thanks,
Shiz, man.
Titties in the space cowboy.
I was just happy I remembered all the changes
Chords?
we made. Yeah, all the chord, like all the
Oh.
specific like chord choices we
Right.
made.
We changed a lot in the moment, yeah.
Cool.
Troy from the top.
I would love
You
that.
wanna-
There's one part I would love to come right now, but I don't care. I just want to listen. Just want to hear it. Hear it now.
if I could only I could take a stand before the world falls at me. If I could only see all the undying as I stumble on the highway, she should be seen. I can only breathe. I can only breathe. All the world wants for me. She could only see all the light she shines inside me. All the darkest days of this space, the light goes across the small sea. She could only see. She'd only see all the world longs for me.
be cool on the nylon or something.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be an acoustic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be stark to have it be nylon. It might not be like bright enough, but it also could be really cool.
Could be cool.
Like you don't hear like dark synths in like nylon.
Yeah.
I mean you do, but.
Who wants to go smoke some pot? Anybody? No cream? Anybody any cream? Okay.
Are we
no cream.
tracking tonight?
Yeah. No.
Huh?
Are we tracking tonight?
Well, I feel like the night session's supposed to be a little faded.
Right.
You know?
I feel that.
I'll probably eat first.
How long did it till 7? 10 minutes?
10
Dinner's
minutes.
at 7. What's that?
Yeah. What you want?
You know what? Would you ask C-Ray if he'd be down for a quick Q&A?
Yeah, that'd be great.
People
Right
are
now, right
super
now.
hot on him.
Just right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm out of the phone minutes later.
I'm trying to find that screen name.
Jimmy,
That was
do you
fun.
feel like you want to get into this a little bit, or do you want to come back to this?
C-Ray,
As far as like some overdose.
you're on, man. What do you have to say? What do you have to say? What do you have to
we
say?
live right now, dude?
Yeah. We're
First of
live
all,
right
put your sunglasses
Yeah,
aside,
yeah.
especially when it's
now.
dark.
More.
We can come back to it.
Alright, sure.
at a later date.
They want C-Ray, they want to see if we go live with you, Q&A real quick.
I mean, it's up to you.
While
I mean,
it's
if someone
hot,
wants
while
to
everyone's
go
talking
on
about it,
there,
while it's the
try
talk of
it.
the town.
I can just-
Scott, can you help me?
Yeah, we don't need that. Just do it right here. And just put this right here.
Where?
May I? So I should not sit here because
yeah.
You'll do it with that camera?
What
Yep.
the hell? You know Bo Chansey?
Yeah.
That's my mentor.
Alright, they'll do it with that
Wait.
camera down there.
Oh,
Bo
Chansey?
Chansey married.
Oh, Shaffle skin is he? Killer part, bro.
Thanks, dude. I'm coming right back, right?
Cool. It's hot in here.
Oh, it smells good in here.
Bo Chansey here, John?
I think it's down there.
I don't know
Is it
Chansey.
down there, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's control room vibes.
Dude, can I hear a
Check,
play?
check,
through
check.
this?
What all you drinking?
I think they're gonna do a
You
little.
not yet? You haven't yet.
I haven't heard it at all yet.
It's become a thing, bro.
When can we do it? When can we do it? When can we
Okay,
do it?
Sue Rizzle, Judge Javaye.
They're gonna do a little Q&A, I think.
That'd be awesome.
Up or down?
Down, just on the stool would be great. Maybe.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
How delayed is this?
Oh, I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it up.
Like,
Are they coming down with the camera live? It's on right now. It's right there.
30 seconds.
Where are we live? Are we live right now?
Yes. I flipped up the screen and then recorded it.
Almost brought down the screen.
Yeah, I think I did actually.
I looked on the feed because it's like 30 seconds behind and saw myself was like stretching with my shirt like hiked up above my belly. I was like, okay.
That's really funny.
Sorry, buddy.
Wait, where is the camera even? Is it filming us right now? Like, am I being filmed?
I think your foot.
My foot's being filmed.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're barely in the frame.
Right there in the chair, black chair in the school.
Okay.
Because we're just in dead air right now.
I need a way to see the questions because I don't have good signal. Can I use your iPad? Yeah, just gonna do quick Q&A. What you got? Okay. No, I just gonna see. Q&A, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hear this song though. Can we just like hear it real quick?
No. I want you to wait.
I've been
There's
waiting
some
all
stuff,
day,
there's some
bitch.
stuff that needs to be like automated a little bit.
Right here, C-Ray.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Just do it. Let's go.
Where do you want me to sit?
Right here.
So Lula just texted that we're 90% in frame.
All right. So what was that thing? Tell us the story of that instrument.
Okay, so that's the Buchla music easel. Am I supposed to look right here?
Yeah, it's right there. Here, you guys.
So they made I think 13. If there's synth fans out there, synth nerds out there, that can correct me on this, but I think that they made like around 13 to 15 of them in the early 70s, and then Bimmy, which purchased Buchla Musical Instruments, ended up remaking it for today, and so that's what that is. It's called the Buchla Music Easel.
That's great. How long have you been growing your mustache?
I had a full beard. I was on tour and I let it kind of get gnarly, and then I got home and I kind of got sick of it, and everybody got sick of seeing it, I think. So I chopped it off and left the stash. So there you go.
That's cool. What was the band or artist that made you want to become a musician?
Oh my gosh. That's a big question. There's a lot of bands that I love. I can tell you my biggest influences are probably D'Angelo, Miles Davis, like more contemporary stuff. Like I love The Killers. I love Weezer. I don't know. Who else do we listen to? I love Tame Impala.
Yeah.
This is your moment, man.
Yeah, no, there's a but I love a lot of stuff. I love a lot of electronic music. I love Comtrues. I love ELO. Yeah, it kind of runs the gamut. I love country. There's really no stop.
That's great. Do you wax your mustache?
I don't. There's no wax. I do use there's like this kind of like pomade stuff that just kind of keeps the whiskers in place without going everywhere. So I use like just a tiny bit of that in the morning, but that's about it.
Are you your own fashion advisor?
Yes. Is that? I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. We got any more?
They're coming in. Let's see. I have one. What's your what song are you looking forward to recording the most, if we haven't recorded it yet?
Honestly, I don't really know the titles. I wanted to come in at the appropriate level of prepared, which meant I wanted to have heard all the songs a couple of times so that whenever I heard them, it wasn't like hearing them for the first time. I already knew the form. But as far as like studying the changes and the song titles, I kind of prefer not to know that. So whenever I know that Wayne sent out a schedule of what we're doing each day, and I kind of intentionally chose not to look at it because I like to come in here when we're listening fresh and kind of getting our ideas for the song. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about the hat. I guess we all have hats around here. And
okay, yeah.
Know your choice.
This is made. Man, I can go so deep on these answers. I'm gonna bore the hell out of a lot of people, so I'll try to keep it to the short version. So the oldest hat shop in Manhattan is called Worth and Worth, and it was purchased by Orlando Palacios, is I think how you say his last name. And I've been buying hats for him for a really long time. This is a beaver felt hat. So yeah, basically Worth and Worth, I don't know if they still are, but they used to be the only hat company around that kind of like blocked their own hats and made them from scratch. And they worked with felt that's kind of world renowned, which I don't want to go into all the like history and nerdery about it. But yeah, Worth and Worth hats in New York, that's the place.
Great. We have some new audience members. Do you want to tell them what we're working on briefly, what project we're doing?
Sure. Yeah. So this is Troy Baker's record. I don't really know what it's going to be called. I'm not really sure if there's going to be a band name or if it's artist.
Yeah.
Wrong dude to ask, actually. I'm sorry. I just come to play and hang out with my buddies.
Who are some of your favorite artists you've worked with and you would like to work with?
That's a great question. I work with a lot of film composers. Some of them happen to be really close friends of mine. Rob Simonson, I'm working on a film with him right now with Charlize Theron is one of the stars in it. It's called Tully. So I'm going to be finishing up guitar work for that film whenever I get back to Los Angeles. Artists that I like to work with. I did all the synthesizer work on the last Weezer record, the White Album. That was really fun. I did some additional production for the Sia Kanye West track called Reaper, although I didn't get to hang out with those guys. So, but yeah, that was really fun. Tenacious D, those guys are great. Yeah.
That's cool. Are you self-taught or did you take lessons?
So I didn't take any like formal lessons in college. I got my degree in political science and knew that I didn't want to practice law and that I was going to basically be doing music right after I graduated. But got the degree, and the whole time I was in college I was studying privately from a guy named Wes McMichael in Norman, Oklahoma. And in college I was pretty much obsessed with all things jazz. So bebop, hard bop, the free stuff, like I just loved it. So I spent all of my college years, studying the bebop guys, and then I moved to Los Angeles, and I was doing a lot of R&B soul work. And then once I started playing pedal steel, I started doing a lot of like folk sessions and alternative sessions and stuff like that. So not really self-taught. I took lessons in college, and then after that, once you kind of learn how to learn, then I would just shed records, grab records, and then try to rip off all the parts that I liked.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Oh man, Vince Staples right now. I'm going hard on some Vince Staples. Yeah, who else am I listening to? We were just talking about that the other day. I love all the greats, but yeah, I'm just gonna stick with Vince right now because his summer EP that came out like a couple years ago was awesome, or that was a full length record, and then the new EP is really good as well. So yeah, anything he does, I'm into.
Great. So we're gonna be signing off now. Thanks for the Q&A. Thanks for the question, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow, 12 noon. Right, John? John, right here.
Hey everybody, I'm on TV.
That's my synth dude right there. We team up.
We're just like
He's my partner.
We're Tom
We need
and
to
Huck.
get a name. We need to get
Yeah.
like an official name for our synth duo.